right, boys and girls, it is time to do our letters. All right, ready to say the alphabet with me? And if you need some practice, because I'll always putting that soap in your hands, make sure when you wash your hands or even pretend, make sure you wash the insides of your hands, but also get the outsides and between your fingers. But the outsides is also just as important to get those hands clean, all those germs away. All right, so while you're washing, we are saying the alphabet. Help me sing it together, okay? Ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I've said my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? All right, great job. I hope you enjoyed singing the alphabet song. All right, well, today we are going to do some review. All right, put my pointer down. Let's get our letters out that we have talked about so far. So we've got A. This is our capital letter A, and we've got alligator in there. And remember, for our capital A, we start at the top. We slant down, and we go across. And A, alligator says ah. Alligator says ah. Very good. For our lowercase e, A, we are in that middle. We're in that middle part, in the bottom part, and we go around and down. We go around and down. Good job. That is our A. And remember A, alligator says ah. Good job. All right, now we have our B. We've got, remember our animal? Bubba Bear. That is right, Bubba Bear. Bubba Bear. For our capital B, we go, start at the top, we go down, around. Start at the top, we go down, around, and around. Very good. Now our lowercase b, we start at the top, we go down, we don't pick up our pencil, we go up and around, that big belly. Start at the top, down, up, and around. Very good. All right, and do you remember B, Bubba Bear? He reaches up high for that honey. Buh. Bubba Bear says buh. Bubba Bear says buh. Bubba Bear says buh. Good job. All right. Well, you guys are doing great. So that is our A and our B. All right. Now we're on our letter C. Katina cat. Katina cat. Katina cat. We make little whiskers. Katina cat says k. Katina cat says k. All right. And we start for our capital C. We start at the top. We go around and stop. We don't close it. We don't make a circle. Start at the top. Around and stop. Okay. And lowercase c is just the same, but it's below. It's on that middle part, those dotted lines. So we go around and stop. Around and stop. Very good. And remember, Katina cat says k. Katina cat says k. Katina cat says k. Good job. And grown-ups, remember, in your packet, there is a sheet that gives the letter formations, which is really important to practice saying those words as you're saying the letter, how they need to practice writing, especially the 4s and 5s. 2s and 3s, we're not worried about this. But 4s and 5s, if they're starting to practice even the letters in their name, if they have an A, if it's a capital A, if their name is Abby, you're going to teach them to say slant down, and across. That we don't want to add extra words, because then once they get into the elementary schools in this area, they're going to use those words. So they want us to start teaching those words instead of, I know sometimes it's easy to add so many things, add monkey tails and go on a roller coaster, or big bellies and add other words when you're trying to form those letters. But try to keep it basic, keep it simple. And also, this sheet was in that first packet, September packet. that it tells you about the animal sound. So for Allie, alligator is a, Bubba bear, b. It shows you the motion and it tells you that initial sound, trying not to add additional additional vowels when you say that. So those two are in your September packets. If you did not come get your September packet, when you get your October packet today, they will both be in there, okay? And so we have packet pickup this morning from 11 to 12. It'll be in the carpool line just for the kiddos that are with you to get used to that carpool line, for the adults picking up and dropping off, for you to get used to that carpool line. After that, I will leave them down below by the MMO door. So between 11 and 12, packet pickup in carpool line, Tuesday, October 6th. October 6th from noon to 6 p.m. I will leave them outside the MMO door. So anyone that's working and can't get here between 11 and 12, I will leave them out longer that day. If you need additional time, just email me or call me. We can get something set up. Few of you aren't able to work on that, and that's perfectly fine too, okay? Just keep following us on Facebook and YouTube and listen to some videos and let your kids at least just start seeing us and seeing our faces so they get used to school. All right, well, today, boys and girls, I've got a new letter, D. And this is Dee Dee Deer. I want to introduce you to Dee Dee Deer. Dee Dee Deer has a capital and a lowercase. This is what they look like, Dee Dee Deer. And I'm going to show you how to write a capital D. So we start at the top. We're on that top line, and we're between the top and the bottom line. All right, and we go down and around. It's really easy. Down and around. That's a capital D. For a lowercase d, you're going to start on that middle dotted line, and I'm going to show you in just a second. All right, you're going to go around, and then you're going to go up all the way to the top and come down. So the words are around, up, and down. Okay, now Dee Dee Deer is a deer, and a deer has two little ears. So what you do is you take your fingers like this, and these are his ears, his little antler ears, or these are his ears and his antlers come out of them. So we say Dee Dee Deer says D, Dee Dee Deer says D, Dee Dee Deer says D, and you can kind of see my ears, and you're just making that little sound. Dee Dee Deer says D, Dee Dee Deer says D, and that is Dee Dee Deer. Let me show you on our handwriting paper for the bigs that you're going to start at the top. See this top line? That's the top line. This is our bottom line, and this is our middle dotted line. Okay? We go down and around, down and around. Okay? Our lowercase, start in the middle. We go around, up, and down. Around, up, and down. Okay? So we're teaching them, sometimes they pick up their pencils, sometimes we don't pick up our pencils, okay? So that is your handwriting. So you've got now how to write the D's, our D, 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 D sound, Dee Dee Deer, T, Dee Dee Deer, T. All right, well, let me show you a few fun things you can do. One of my favorite books is If You Give a Dog a Donut. It's a really good book. I hope you can find it and you can read this, okay? Another fun thing is, because donuts are so yummy, one of the things on the October calendar, and one of the things we would be doing in October, is having a donut date with Dad. They would get to come to the school, but we can't do that. But you guys can still do it at home, and you can make it a whole family affair. You can all have a donut date, a special picnic, or a special outing, or even just going to get donuts together and picking your favorite kind, or make it just special if you can have a donut with just Dad. Okay, make sure doggies don't eat the donuts, but see if you can have a fun date with a donut and someone in your family or your whole family. So that is a fun book. I've also got some dice. that you can find really easy at a store, or you know what, you can make some dice with some paper. You can make some blocks, or if you had old blocks, you could put some dots on it. You can do all kinds of things. You can roll the dice and count. Do you know what color my dice are? This is orange. What about this one? Red. Very good. You can practice if you roll the dice and say, I rolled it, and what number is that? And what you can do is count 1, 2, 3. Okay? You can do all kinds of things with dice. Okay? So play a game and roll the dice. Each person, if you have 2 people, they each can give a dice. So one of the biggest things is just roll it. What number you land on. If I roll on this, what is it? Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Or if you wanted to use both of them together, you can do that and count and start with this one and add this one, and you're already doing some addition, and it's really easy by just pointing and counting to the dots. So that's a fun thing to do with some dice. Now I have another thing. This doesn't start with D, but it is great for those fine motor skills. So hopefully some of you put a cotton ball on here on the end of a clothespin and you painted last week. Well, now I have a whole box of pom-poms, all different shapes and sizes. What color? Orange. All right, so now we have a whole box of pom-poms. You can find them at a craft store. You might, Mom, you might have some lying around in an old closet or old crafts basket. They're not gonna get messy at all. Put them in a little bucket, and you can use a couple of things. You can use a clothespin. What you're gonna do, and have the kids try, especially with the big ones at first, try to grab on, pinch it, and move it. And you can even put it in an egg carton or sort it in bowls from biggest to smallest, or just even the fact that they're pinching and trying to grip those cotton balls. And then, or cotton balls, you could even use cotton balls if you don't have pom-poms, or the smaller ones, okay? Because these tiny ones can be a little tricky. Oops, I got 2 that time. But you're pinching, and that is building the strengths in these hands and fingers. That gets them ready to be able to use markers and paintbrushes and eventually pencils. So we need to strengthen those muscles. So one of the greatest things I love to do, you can do it with anything. I have pom-poms, I said cotton balls. You can do it with beans. You can do it with all kinds of things. So a clothespin. If you have some fancy pinchers that you can buy at a store, or you might even have some, or you can even use chopsticks. So some of you might have some of those lying around. So this is a fun activity to practice those, getting those muscles stronger in your fingers. All right. Well, I hope you've had some fun enjoying some letter time and learning our new letter, D, dear. Talking about our capital and our lowercase d. Practice writing them. Look, be looking, use those binoculars. What are things that start with D in your house? I said donuts, I said dad, I said dice. Doggies. I'm gonna show you a picture of my doggie diving later this week. So look for some things that start with D. All right, have a great week, and I will see you later. Bye, boys and girls.